Hey everyone, this is Joyce Strong and Bottom Syndicate. We're here today with part 3 of my 3-part series with Jody Marchand on domestic violence. Make sure you tune in and listen to parts 1 and 2 if you missed it. It's really a powerful episode, so thanks a lot. I love how you've been able to, the whole purpose of this show is really to help people tell their story, not feel like you still harbor some guilt that I'd like to help you with, and the shame at the beginning, the shame of...
I still have it.
Yeah, not just of that incident, but just of being, in that relationship all that time.
Right.
And there's a shame that goes with that, and that chips away at your self-esteem. And just, in lots of different circumstances people have, if they, tell their story, that secret is the prisoner of your emotions. It really locks away your ability to heal. And so you're being able to come out and tell this difficult story is an example for other people to do the same thing. So you're helping to keep Olivia's name alive and her memory alive, but you're also saving lives in ways that you may never hear.
I hope you're right.
Yeah. Oh, I know for sure. I
just hope that is, I mean, it's my, as I said, my mission is to always it's my goal is, as you talked about, get it out there more. I mean, I want to be on TV. Mm-hmm. I want to be on CBS This Morning. Mm-hmm. Someday you'll see me on CBS This Morning. Or there's that new show, Tamron Hall. Yes.
Well, we'll tag her on this and make sure she sees that you've given her a shout out.
Thank you. I mean, can I?
I have no doubt that you're going to be in all those places. You are amazing.
I truly believe I will.
Yeah.
I must believe that.
Yeah.
I must. It's just, just if someone hears some of the things and they think, yes, that, I thought something wasn't right, but it isn't right.
So what will this do for you if you're able to speak at this higher level and speak to more people and really get the message, make it more mainstream? What will that do?
It will help. It will make me so proud, happy that her name is forever out there. Mm-hmm. Olivia Marchand, forever. Mm-hmm. Because, as I said, her life was ahead of her. Mm-hmm. College, her career, a family. Mm-hmm. I will never see that. Mm-hmm. That must be out there. When everything first happened, I couldn't leave the house. Mm-hmm. I mean, physically, I'm still, my jaw, after speaking a lot, my jaw is in so much pain. If I did not have the medication I have, mm-hmm. I would be rolled up in a ball. Mm-hmm. I would not be able to eat. I would not be able to speak.
Wow. Yeah. Still to this day.
Right. They said after 3 years, if it's not better, it's never going to be better.
Yeah.
So here I am 10 years later.
Yeah.
People need to hear the story. Mm-hmm. They must hear that. They've got to hear the signs. What happened to me may not be what's going on with you. One thing I will say I'm proud of is I knew to keep my paycheck to myself. Mm-hmm. And he didn't like that. Mm-hmm. But I was determined. And so we came up with having a house account. So we each contributed mm-hmm. to the house account, and I paid the bills, electricity, mortgage, all that. But then I had my own money to spend. And I'll tell you this, I would go shopping and I would take the price tag off my new sweater and throw the bag away and put it up in my closet. That way he knew I didn't go shopping and that what I spent.
Wow.
It's the one thing I can say I'm proud of, because I knew he was not going to have control over my money.
Mm-hmm. But still, you lived in such fear.
But what?
You lived in such fear still.
Well, obviously, right. Yeah. So in other words, I could not be honest about something I had purchased. I got quite close to his daughter. Because he was as I said, 9 years older than me. He had children quite young. So his daughter was like 11 years younger than me. We became really close for a while. And he did not ever want me to go away with friends. He did not like that at all. As many people, jealousy is huge in these type of relationships. And so fortunately, I became close to his daughter, and I went away with her for her 30th birthday. So I'm with all her 30-year-old friends, and I'm 41. And we went to Aruba, and he was very happy because he knew if I was with his daughter, I wasn't going to do anything wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
But we used to laugh. I mean, not that we were she was engaged, not that we were doing anything bad.
Yeah.
But we'd go out and go dancing and have drinks, and we would kid around. What happens in Aruba stays in Aruba. So that's how I could get away and have some fun.
Wow, wow.
So, yeah.
Are you working now beside the
Yeah,
speaking?
so I was starting to go there. I get off on these things.
Plus, we're being entertained by the band. It's, having the band above us in the studio is not great planning.
Well, hopefully we can.
Yeah, they can still
we
hear
can
us.
fix whatever. But
Yeah.
so I'm sorry.
Working? Are you working?
Yes. So
now?
I
Yeah.
couldn't work at first, mentally, physically. As I said, I'm in extreme pain,
Yeah.
and I just couldn't leave the house. But then a friend of mine needed someone to help. This woman was a bookkeeper
Yeah.
for companies, and she was extremely she just was so busy. She was disorganized. So she said, "Would you come and work for me?" And the pay wasn't great. It was extra money though, because I'm on disability. And you're allowed to make a certain amount of money.
Yeah.
And getting out of the house was the best thing that could have happened to me.
Yeah.
Because sitting home, as many victims do,
Yeah.
they can't do it. And I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
It's a tragedy that sometimes some people can't live past it, as you know. There's, but so I started doing that, and believe me, that woman needed me. She had paperwork that was like 5 years old that needed filing, so that was good. And then from there, I got offered a job for more money, and that was great. And so now I'm a host at a local restaurant, Forage and Vine.
Yeah.
And I also still work for this landscaper a couple of days a week.
Yeah.
And so it's good to stay active.
Yeah.
I highly recommend that.
Yeah.
For anyone that is feeling depression or sad or whatever the case is.
To not isolate. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because then it just becomes all of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. My therapist very much wants me to get involved in other things that are fun.
Yeah.
So I went on, there's groups called Meet Me.
Yeah. Meetup.
Meetup.
Yeah.
So, and it's not dating, it's just
Groups, yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm going to go, she said, but next time you see me, I want you to be signed up with something. Yeah. So I'm going to go to Jordan's Furniture. They have this rope swing thing, I guess, and I'm going to go there. And hopefully get my brother to go with me. And just, I have a fun day.
Yeah, yeah.
It's very hard to have a fun day.
Yeah? Is it? What happens when you try to have a fun day?
What happens what?
When you try to have a fun day?
It's just, it's almost like this, it's like, here's what someone told me once. You've got to somehow get rid of this guilt. You know what I mean? That, in other words, Olivia, instead of every day, like I would wake up every day, I'm so sorry to my daughter. Mm-hmm. There's just times I just cry my eyes out. So sorry I didn't leave. You'd be here today maybe. So my therapist said, you need to put her here. She's here. She's not every day. Mm-hmm. You'll never, I have post-traumatic stress.
Right.
And so, so this was a thought she had of trying to not, yeah, it's fun to be a host at a restaurant. Mm-hmm. That's why I did it, to try and have some fun. Yeah. It is fun, and that's a great place. And I worked at Burton's for 2 years. Those people are amazing, and that was fun. So it's good. I would see people I know because it's a local. So anyway, but still, it's not just getting out and having some
without
fun.
it being a paid job or something. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's interesting that the association of the guilt and the fun, those two things that you kind of mentioned together. It's just interesting to me.
Yes. Well, yeah. I don't, like, it's not like I won't do something because of, what I mean? I'm not saying, I can't go have fun today because of the guilt. But honestly, it's like, unless I don't make an effort to go out at night, I really don't. Mm-hmm. By the end of the day, I've been on pain pills. I'm tired. I'm depressed. Mm-hmm. Once a friend invited me over for dinner the other night. I didn't want to go. Mm-hmm. I did not want to go. I was home alone all day, raking. Mm. I was so depressed by the end of the day because I'm home alone and my thoughts.
Yeah.
I went out. I had such a great time.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go. The minute I got there. Yeah. So yes, there's something to be said about getting out.
Yeah.
Trying to
breaking
have some
that
fun.
Thought pattern, because we can tell ourselves. I mean, the facts are the facts; they are unchangeable facts.
Right.
But the story we create from them,
right?
The coulda, shoulda, wouldas. That's all invented.
Oh,
right.
And
that piece of it is something we invent to fit.
And they say that people say to me, "You didn't pull the trigger."
Yeah.
I know that. Yet I still think, had I run out the door, what I mean? I keep thinking, when she came in ready to make cupcakes, why didn't I just run out the door in my pajamas?
Well, you hadn't really done it before. I mean, you didn't.
Years ago, when at the beginning of the relationship, I remember there were times I would, because back then, I mean, we're talking, I met him in I don't know, I met him in, say, 1979 or something like that. Mm-hmm. You didn't hear about it, really, so much. Yeah. So he wasn't afraid back then of losing his guns. But there were times I was afraid, and I would go upstairs, change, and as I said, go to the hotel. So something came over me that night, and I went back to that routine, let's say, of going upstairs and changing and leaving. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I did.
He had not threatened you with a gun before?
No, it got to, no. No, but looking back, there's things he said. He used to say, "I will never go through a second divorce." Mm. I would just blow it off as just him.
Something people say.
Yeah. As one example. So, and it got to a point, I mean, yes, I could say a lot of things, but sometimes he would actually say, "Jody," in other words, I'm going to lose it. And so I knew what he meant. Like he'd say, "Jody, we got to," I don't know, there was this look on, so I knew I have to stop.
Yeah.
And I would stop.
Yeah.
And so, but, as I said, it's just, I was done, and he knew I was done. Mm-hmm. And he just wasn't going to have it.
Yeah. That's an important and powerful lesson right there to, when we're helping people to leave, to make sure that they recognize this is a critical point.
The minute they say that the signs of what it can get worse and worse, if someone strangling is like the previous step to what happened to me. Right. That's what they say. So if someone is choking you, get out.
Yeah.
That's the severity of what you're dealing with. Right. I mean, obviously, if there's physical abuse, but choking is strangling someone is
pretty serious.
The next step is Could be death.
Yeah. In all of this sadness that we've, hearing this story and talking, often when a person has had a rock bottom place in their life, as you have, they look back and they have some great gratitude for it happening, because it opened up some new place where they could be of service or help. Have you had any feelings like that?
No, people tell me that though. They say, you're doing something, you're reaching people. No.
No.
There's not one. When you say gratitude, yes, there's gratitude when I speak.
Yeah.
I have, when I was a loan officer, I used to have to make presentations sometimes, and I would be so nervous.
Yeah.
And not to say I never get nervous, but it just comes out, because it's who I am now.
Yeah.
There's no gratitude in that.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
I have to be honest about that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
There's no gratitude.
Yeah.
Whatsoever. There's gratitude I have my family,
Mm-hmm.
because I think and good friends, because without them maybe I would commit suicide, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But I find I do, so I can't say there's not things I'm thankful for.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying I would do it, but I often believe it's what keeps me going.
Okay, so that's something that you've thought about.
I have.
Yeah.
I have. I just, it's so painful to see it in my mind, and to think, where would she be?
Yeah.
And why didn't I do it sooner? All the woulda, shouldas.
Yeah.
And I know, probably not supposed to have those, but I do. And with time, it's been less and less. I will say that.
Mm-hmm.
But, so yes, I'm thankful when I hear that maybe someone wanted to talk with me, or thankful if I maybe was able to reach someone. I was at something once where there were parents there crying.
Mm-hmm.
They were so worried about their daughter, so they had me talk to her daughter.
Yeah.
Now, whether that helped, I don't know, but it couldn't have hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And the idea of Olivia's story helping other people and having that
Right.
empowerment it
That's
certainly feels
the only good feeling I get.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd say, other than you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
That I can say is
Well,
up there.
Yeah, I mean, you can't be grateful that this tragedy
Right.
happened. Yeah, I get
Right.
that. But there's something good
But
has
I'm grateful
come
for
from
the
it.
compassion. When something goes on Facebook,
Yeah.
or if I put a message somewhere, the number of replies that are given to me
Yeah,
are amazing.
yeah,
The number one, and the kindness in people's hearts, the
Yeah.
compassion.
yeah,
So yes, I will say that
yeah.
makes me feel very good.
Were you this strong before? Were you always this strong?
I thank you for calling me strong, because I certainly don't feel that way a lot of the times. Thank you. I like to think I was. I think had I, again, being a loan officer, what kills me is that I would, there were things that he got away with. Like I was the butt of all his jokes we were out to dinner one night, and everyone was laughing so hard because he was the funny guy. But every joke was at my expense, and that's another sign. And so I had this weakness there, I believe. I did not have the strength to leave, but yet I was a loan officer, and I would fight for my clients to get a mortgage. If they were, didn't want to get an approval, the person, the underwriter of that loan, the person that can approve it, if they were saying no, I fought for that. So I believe I did have this determination, or, I'm the oldest of 4, so I like to be in charge. I don't know. I like to think I had strength.
Yeah.
But I didn't have enough to leave. Not to say I never looked at places. I remember looking at renting a place in town, and I went in And the rent was so high. It was so high. People, what they pay for rent, just, it's a killer. And the place was so disgusting. And I laugh when I tell this about how it had that, remember those dishwashers that you'd have to move it over to your sink and hook it up?
Yeah.
And it had one of those. Now, not to say I'm a snob about where I live.
Yeah.
But for what it cost.
Yeah.
And how terrible it was.
Yeah.
And I was going to bring my child. But really, looking back.
Yeah.
But there was other stuff about it. But I was afraid because, like I said, 1 month, if it was busy, people were buying houses. It was, say it was in the fall, and people tend to go out and buy houses in the spring.
Yeah.
Those are busy seasons. So you'd have a great few months, but then there were months around the holidays I'd make barely nothing.
Yeah.
I was afraid, and that's a problem. Financial is huge.
Yeah.
Very often victims go back, as you mentioned, we were talking earlier, because, or no, I was at a meeting this morning, they were talking about, where do I go?
Yeah. And then just your priorities are a jumble because, you're confused. I think that you've always been strong.
Thank you.
I really believe that. I think what happens is when you're abused and it's chronic like that it just chips away at your self-esteem, and that strength is still there, but the brain plays tricks and you just don't believe in yourself anymore.
Right.
So once you get that
Right.
belief back and you get removed from it, your strength, can come back.
That's why we have a foundation called Live for Live, Live for FOR, live, liv.org.
Yeah, and Liv is Olivia.
Right.
Yeah.
As she got into the older grades, as she got older, she wanted to be called Liv. So you know how that can happen.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's called liveforlive.org. That's our website. And I'm saying that because what was the question again? I'm so sorry.
I actually lost my train. Well, I was saying that you were strong from the beginning. That's what we had been speaking about. But were you talking about what the foundation does?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
I'm sorry. This happens to me often, and I do believe it's partly. I do have short-term memory issues.
Yeah.
Because of what happened.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah.
It was tested. So I apologize.
That's okay.
That's part of what I deal with. But liveforlive.org was started so that her memory's there.
Yeah.
We promote the Ride for Live, Run for Live that goes on every July. And we raise money to give to Alternative House, which is a shelter that covers the whole Middlesex area.
Okay.
So money is
So this
given
is
to
a
them.
bike ride and a run?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
It's every July. It's at the 4-H fairgrounds because my daughter had a horse.
Yeah.
And I highly recommend not to do it, okay? Because it costs. You have to lease. You have to rent the stall. Purchasing it is not the bad.
Yeah.
It's the expense of the vet and the hoofs and the food and this, that, and the other thing. So, so we have it at the 4-H fairgrounds for that reason. It was started there.
Yeah.
So we have a few bike rides, we have a walk, run, we have a cookout, and we have ice cream, thanks to Kimball's Ice Cream. I mean, it's a great day.
Yeah.
So Live for Live, that was our first, the year anniversary date came up, and I was like, I can't have a service. It doesn't help me right now.
Yeah.
It just makes me so sad.
Yeah.
And I wanted to have something happy and fun.
Yeah.
So that she's remembered that way. And a friend came up with the bike ride.
Yeah.
And we said, we don't care if we make a dime.
Yeah.
Seriously. And we made $10,000.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
That's great.
So happy. And then our accountant said, the first few years it will be very well known and people will go, of course.
Yeah.
Your memory's still there.
Yeah.
And he said, after the first few years you might find a very low attendance.
Yeah.
And you know what? 10 years, last year was the 9th year. This year is a 10-year anniversary date. So it's still very, it still does very well.
Yeah, good. Good.
Yeah.
So good to hear.
So we might change it up a little bit to 10 years on the activities, but trying to get to instead of it being more of a low-key, well, it's a family day, but we're finding that we had a 6-mile bike ride for kids and families, and that's gotten smaller and smaller number. So we're thinking we might go with a little, we'll still do the 5K run walk, but then do a little longer run walk.
Okay.
I don't know how long, but that's our plan.
Yeah.
So, so with that money, we donate to Alternative House. We give money to Western Coalition for Nonviolence. We also have, I know this is exactly what I was going to tell you, that we have money put aside now, because if someone has no access to money, how can they go rent a place? How do they get out of their house?
Yeah.
Not that they should have to be the one to get out, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
So if someone had handed me, did I say this?
You didn't say
I
it
didn't
yet.
mention
No,
this yet,
no.
did I? If someone said to me, okay, you don't have access to funds, here's first month, last month, maybe security deposits needed, here it is. Get out the door. I am telling you, if I got out the door, the relief I would have felt, it would have been huge. Huge. So my goal, we were fortunate to get a grant from Eastern Bank. So we have money put aside for that purpose. But there's always, we are trying to save money to eventually purchase housing. If you're in a shelter, if you've never been allowed to work, how do you get a job? So there's a thing called transitional housing. So maybe we could buy a multi-family home and help a small number of people go to school, get trained on a job. It's a must. So any donations would go towards that. People need to know that. So we accept online. We obviously, when people come to the Ride Run, we hope they will maybe donate a little more, than just that day's ticket. I hope that we're going to do some type of, raffle online. There's various. At a meeting this morning, they talked about giving toys to the shelter. There's a lot of stuff at the holidays, toys for tots. It's all for good things. I don't take it away. But that's when there's a lot of giving, right? Because it's the time of year.
Right.
It's great. However, couldn't we do some giving? Maybe there's people leaving their homes without their shampoo, without their wallet, without clothes, without kids' clothes.
Yeah. So there's a lot of education that needs to happen, and
and donations.
And communication about it, repeated communication. That's a lot of work. Yeah.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Unfortunately, Yeah.
It is unfortunate.
Well, you're tackling this from all angles.
I know.
Yeah. You've been putting in some good brain power on being part of the solution, and
thank you.
I'm so grateful to you for this.
I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's got to be talked about, and hopefully a way to get this confidence back into people, this level of confidence that they can do it, that they can get out.
Helping them, baby step it out, or
Get
whatever
out of
it
that
takes.
cycle.
Yeah.
Just because they're nice for a while,
Yeah.
it doesn't go away. It does not go away. The numbers are 9 out of 100% of these abusive people, 95% never change.
Right.
The 5% that change have to go through extreme, mind, setting changes through some particular type of therapy, like pretty serious stuff. And most of them don't think the majority don't believe they have a problem.
Right.
it is what it is. So, yeah.
Well, I love seeing people take action, and you've been
Thank
such
you.
a great model. And I have no idea where we are in the length of this show. So, because I lost my clock, and so we'll figure out the length and split it up into.
Well, and I mean, if I could give, I would giving some particular. I mean, I did give some ideas of things that had happened.
Yes.
To me. So thank you.
And did you have more that you wanted to share?
Well, it depends. Whatever you think is best. I mean,
we talked about
part
some
of it I can do.
Yeah, we talked about the warning signs and a lot of the warning signs. We talked about the Live for Live.
Yep.
And how to donate and how to reach. So I think we covered a lot. We covered your story. We heard about Olivia and heard a little bit more about what her life was like. So I think we got a lot done today.
I think we did, and I think if ever that you feel we can talk more, I'm here.
Yeah.
I will do whatever, and I say that because this is an emotional part of me now.
Okay.
I will do anything. This is my second meeting today. And if you heard the horror story I heard today, you wouldn't believe it. You would not believe. So
a horror story of what
something else.
Someone else is going through.
We're not still. Are we still on?
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
Oh, should I say quickly what I heard, or
if you
can
want.
tell you later?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can always cut it out. Well, I was at a Western Coalition for Nonviolence meeting this morning, and there's a woman. Her daughter lived in Colorado, and there was a family there. And this is a long story, but I will say this briefly. This woman's son kept coming home on the bus. This boy was a victim in a family. He wasn't the victim. The mom was being brutally beaten. And so nobody was there when he was coming home from school because the father was in a trailer or something, alcoholic, drug addict, whatever. And the mom was trying to work 3 jobs to keep the kids and her in this house. So this young boy was coming home to nobody. So he was getting off the bus with his friend. So I'm talking about the grandmother and her daughter, whose little boy who kept getting this kid over to the house. And finally she called the mom and said, I have your son like at least 3 days a week. I mean, he's eating dinner over, and is everything okay or something? And the woman said, my husband is, alcoholic, blah, 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 and I got to work 3 jobs, so I'm not there. I can't. She goes, if you could pick him up after school, that would be so great. Because that's what it was. The boy didn't have a ride home after school, so he kept picking up a ride with this other kid.
Yeah. Wow.
Anyway, so there's more and more of the story, but basically, unfortunately, it boils down to, like, she was being severely beaten. He finally killed her. I don't recall whether he stabbed her, I forget how he murdered her. This is so unbelievable. He brought his son into the house to see his murdered mother. 10 years old. I fell apart. I mean, so this is a serious problem that needs to be talked about. Look what happened. And the thing is that, so it's all income levels. It's, the definition of domestic violence, I wish I had remembered to bring it. It's all income levels, it's all races, it's all ethnic, it's all sexual preference, it's everyone. It's not just in, the ghetto or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Certainly do.
Or the poor section of town, or however you say it. So and I wish I could get into schools. How do we change society if we aren't letting kids know this is not okay? Well,
there's more than one way to talk to kids. It doesn't all have to be in the schools.
Good point. Very good point.
And sometimes we need to find the workarounds.
That's right. Yeah. Very good point. Thank you. That lifts my spirits.
Yeah.
that lifts my spirit.
Every kid has a phone these days.
This is true. But as I tell them, you know, it could be you, it could be your best friend, it could be your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister. When I speak to them, when I speak to anyone, I make sure I say that several times.
I'll have to get you a TikTok account.
Pardon me?
I'll have to get you a TikTok account. That's the new thing that a lot of the young kids are using now, like Instagram or
Oh,
Facebook.
really?
Yeah, their new thing. It's like a short video that you can make
Oh, wow.
and deliver a message.
Interesting.
Yeah, so find a way to
That's great.
put it in their language and make it helpful.
That's great. Well, you know, we do get interns now. This is a fairly new thing. And because the high school kids, you know, for the later part of the year, it starts in April, I believe,
Yeah.
they go on intern.
Yeah.
So I get kids to help us plan the bike ride, and they get me in on some of this newer things, some of these newer things, like, you know, and so it's great. That's a good thing, because I've never heard of that.
Yeah, well, that would be great. I'd love to talk to them too and see if we could collaborate on something.
Any way, shape, or form to get the word out to anyone, I would be extremely, extremely grateful.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll wrap up just because it's probably lunchtime by now.
Or dinner.
Or dinner. I'm so
Joyce.
grateful for you for coming
Joyce,
today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have to say, you're here for a good reason, not just me.
I know.
You're here for a really good reason, and I thank you that you're one of the good people out there.
Yeah.
It's what keeps you going.
So, thank you. Thanks so much for listening to my 3-part series with Jody Marchand on domestic violence. Make sure you go to her website, www.live.org, and get connected. And if there's a way that you can help financially, making a donation or help some other way, we'd sure like to have you part of what we're doing to make nobody else have to deal with a tragedy like this. And for those people who are struggling, reach out to us. We can help. Thanks a lot.